Hi everyone, my name is Charles Rather of Amlaw Group. Today I wanted to talk about a general issue we get asked a lot where people say, I'm willing to make an investment in the US. I want the fastest way to get my green card. What can you recommend? And there's a lot of answers we could give, and unfortunately the long answer is it depends. So it depends on your budget, depends on your time frame, stuff like that. But in this video, at least I wanted to go over maybe some of the main options that exist for acquiring a green card, making an investment either in your business or somebody else's business or a project. So to remind you now, we're talking about green cards. We're not talking about temporary visas like E2s, L1s, O1s. We're talking about what's the fastest way to get a green card. We do a lot of work with EB-5s. And I'll have to say EB-5 I think is relatively very safe method of getting a green card. Relatively pricey. You've got to invest $800,000. But it's reliable and it's safe, but it does take a long time. As of today, summer 2023, I would say realistically, you're looking at 4 years to get it processed. Now, they recently revised the law last year, and under this new law, you're allowed to stay in the U.S. while you're awaiting your adjudication. And while you're waiting here, you can get a work permit. You can get what's called advanced parole that allows you to leave and enter the U.S. without a visa. So you basically have all the rights of a green card holder before you even get a green card. So for these 4 years while you're waiting for your case to get reviewed, you and your family can live here, get a work authorization, travel back and forth while you're waiting. So it's not that bad. It's 4 years of waiting, but you've got some benefits that would work out. So I would say EB-5, good option. Somewhat long time frame. What's faster? You could get a job offer. So if you were to do what's called an EB-2 or EB-3, that allows you to get a green card based on a job offer. So a U.S. company has to express an interest in hiring you. They have to go through what's called the labor cert process, where they get a salary from the Department of Labor for your position. They advertise that position in media, newspapers, online. They interview American candidates. And then they have to show that the American candidates don't meet the requirements you have, and therefore they have to hire you because there's no one else suited for the position. That process is faster than the EB-5, definitely. Maybe takes about 18 months to get through the whole process, sometimes longer, 20 months or so. So it's relatively fast, relatively, right? And it's not that expensive in that you don't have to invest $800,000. So less money is required up front. So that's a good option. But again, you need to find a company that's willing to sponsor you. Another option is EB-1A. That's for talented individuals. It could be business people, entrepreneurs, but generally more suited towards artistic types like artists, scientists, athletes. We've had quite a few as well, where you show that you have certain achievements, certain prizes, recognition, et cetera, that makes you kind of, the cream of the crop in your field. And based on that, you should get a green card. Now with that option, there's an expedited processing that takes only 15 days. So literally within 15 days, you could get an approval. And if you're here in the US, as soon as you get that approval, you can file your documents for change of status and stay here while you're waiting for the green card. So that actually is quite a fast option. And I would say probably the fastest. The thing is, not everybody is accomplished enough, has enough awards or other achievements in order to qualify for this. Sometimes they call this the Einstein green card or the genius green card. It's kind of a silly name, but it's something that sticks, and in this case, it's quite fast as well. So if you qualify, you might want to consider the EB-1A. Another option that's becoming increasingly popular lately is what's called National Interest Waiver, NIW. That's somewhat similar to the EB-1A. I would say the criteria required, the level of achievement you have to show is a little bit lower, but you have to show that your work is in the interests of the United States and its economy. So it really kind of depends. If you're making a broad example, maybe if you're an artist, it might be a little bit more difficult to show why your work is in the interests of the U.S. Whereas under the EB-1A category, it's easy for you to prove because you meet some of the requirements. You had some prizes, you had high salary or earnings from your art sales and stuff like that. You had some great recommendation letters from other experts in the field that could attest to your skills as an artist. So it actually might be easier for you to qualify for the EB-1A than the NIW. I think the NIW is more suited towards skilled professionals, IT specialists, scientists, engineers. Who else have we had? Sometimes business people as well. It just depends on how we're able to package it and how we can present the client's activities as being in the national interest of the United States. They recently implemented expedited processing for NIWs. It's not 15 days, it's 45 days. So I would say maybe that's probably number 2 on our list of fastest green card options is NIW, because it's taking 45 days. Again, assuming you're talented enough, have enough achievements that we can fit you in that category. The final and last option is what's called the EB1C. That also has expedited processing, 45 days. EB1C is for those business people who can show that they were working at an affiliated overseas entity. So an entity overseas that's affiliated somehow with a U.S. company. Affiliated means either the foreign company owns the U.S. company or the same controlling shareholders of the foreign company are also shareholders of the U.S. company. So in that case, you have that affiliate relationship and that qualifies. And if you are coming over from the overseas branch to come and work at the U.S. branch, then you're able theoretically to apply for the EB1C green card, assuming you meet some of the other requirements. Like I said, there's a 45-day premium processing they recently implemented for this category, so that's also relatively quick. The biggest challenge here is showing that affiliated relationship between an overseas company and a U.S. company, or if you're looking to buy a U.S. company that meets these requirements. From our experience, it's difficult to find a suitable company in the U.S. that meets the EB1C requirements, assuming you've got a pretty big budget, but most of our clients have maybe a somewhat limited budget. I would say from my experience, even though there's no minimum purchase amount, to find a company that meets the requirements for this category, I'd say you got a budget at least $700,000-$800,000, I would say, if not more. Otherwise, the company's too small and it's not going to meet some of the requirements for the EB1C category. But assuming that you do meet the requirements, like I said, 45 days, you could get this approved and go from there. So as you can see, there's kind of a broad array of options that are available. Which one is best suited for you? That's really something we'd have to sit down in a one-on-one session to speak with you during a consultation to talk about your background, your skills, what you have, and then work out a strategy that best meets your needs. Subscribe to our channel. We're always happy to see new viewers and new subscribers. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Until next time, this is Charles Rather.